A few decades ago, this guy created this, and a few years ago, this tool was born. So I've decided to take what this guy did and turn it into this. This is an Eisenhower Matrix in ClickUp. If you don't know me already, I'm Ramzi and I help businesses set up clear workflows and have efficient systems in their project software. Now, my go-to tool is ClickUp and I'm a verified ClickUp consultant. And because I use this tool for business and for my clients, I've decided to set up a personal productivity system in ClickUp. Now, I've started this system with the Getting Things Done method. If you haven't watched my video on getting things done, you can go have a look. The link is down in the description. And what the Getting Things Done method does is that it helps you sort out all of your ideas into actions or actual references or projects that need longer term to tackle. It's basically a way to really jot down and sort out all your brained up and reorganize it later. Now, this method is great when it comes to organizing your actual ideas into tasks or into references or into stuff you're gonna tackle someday or later. But what it doesn't do is that it doesn't let you assess if a task is actually urgent and important to tackle. And that's why I've decided to incorporate an Eisenhower Matrix into my day-to-day and into my personal workflow. Now, here's a little bit more about the Eisenhower Matrix. So it's been created by Dwight D. Eisenhower. So it's the guy I've shown you the photo of. And this former president of the United States had to tackle both his political career and his management of the armies when the US was at war. To be able to organize himself, he's created the matrix that I've shown you, which is basically the one here. And he's able to know exactly if he has to tackle a task, if it's urgent and important, or scheduled for later, or delegated or deleted. Now, if this method works for a US president, it probably will work for your business and personal tasks. So the value of the Eisenhower Matrix that I see is that it lets you clarify your priorities. It reduces your stress because you know clearly if something is to tackle urgently or if it's just brain fuzz, and it improves your decision making because you're going to focus on what's actually important, and it pushes you to think strategically. You're not just tackling a to-do list in a very linear way, okay, this, and that. You're actually going to think, do I need to do this at the moment? Is this important for my personal life, for my personal growth, for my business, for my success, etc., etc. Whatever goal you put behind it, is it aligned or is it actually really not a priority right now? Now, with this said, I'm going to show you how to set it up in ClickUp, and we're going to basically list our tasks, then we're going to assign them to quadrants and set them up in the board view in ClickUp and separate them either by urgency or importance. And based on this categorization, it will look like something like this. So you'll be able to know clearly that you have to tackle those tasks first, and that those are not very urgent, those are not important, and those are not urgent, not important. You can probably clear them out. Based on the quadrant, these are to do very quickly, these are to schedule for later, and these are probably to delegate if you have the ability to, and these are to get rid of. Now, you should stay till the end of the video because I'm going to share with you this Eisenhower Matrix template for free, and I'm going to show you how to incorporate it into the Getting Things Done template that I've built if you already have access to the template. With all that said, let's get into ClickUp. So I got to ClickUp and I've created an empty list right here called the Eisenhower Matrix. This list is fully empty and we're going to create the two fields we need for the template to work. So if we get back to the diagram, as you can see, we need to tackle what's urgent, what's not urgent, and what's important and not important. So we basically have two parameters to handle. The first one is urgency. So we're going to create this urgency custom field into ClickUp. If I get right here, I'm going to create a drop-down field and I'll call this field urgency. And from there, I can pick the value urgent and not urgent. Pretty simple. And I'll put this one in green and not urgent, maybe in gray. Click create. And then I'm going to tackle the second custom field, which is importance. So important, not important. Pretty simple and straightforward as well. Let's get back to ClickUp, drop down, and importance. From there, we can pick important. For this one, we're gonna pick blue, for example, and not important. This one's gonna be maybe dark gray. Click create, and we have our urgency and importance fields. Now we can get rid of the due date and the assignee for now, just to keep it simple. And from there, you should create your tasks, whether they're related to your business or your personal life. You just should categorize them right here. Once that's done, we're gonna fill up the urgency and importance of each of these tasks. So for example, we have prepare quarterly performance report for leadership. Maybe that's quite urgent, and it is actually important. Respond to critical customer feedback on PR crisis seems pretty urgent and pretty important because it's related to public relations. Finalize a launch time sensitive marketing campaign. This is pretty urgent and important as well. Then like create comprehensive customer personal research. This is not urgent and I don't feel like this is important, so I'll put it right here. Develop long-term marketing strategy and annual planning, not urgent, but quite important. Design professional development and skills. Okay, this is not urgent, not important, etc., etc. I'm gonna go through this list and we'll get back when I'm done. All right, so I've sorted all my tasks out, either by urgency or importance. I have those two parameters saved in. And what we're gonna do to have our Eisenhower-like matrix is we're gonna leverage the ClickUp board view. So if we click into view right here, we're gonna add a new board, and it's gonna look a little bit like the Eisenhower matrix because it's gonna use the right columns and it's gonna use swim lanes. So since mid 2024, I think ClickUp incorporated this swim lane feature that not only lets you group tasks vertically, but also horizontally. That way we're gonna have our 4 Eisenhower quadrants. To do so, I'm gonna lay it out a little bit more like the Eisenhower matrix. So if you get into our diagram, it's pretty square quadrants like that. So we get to ClickUp, we go into layout options, card size. Let's do large cards to have cards that are as square as possible. Then we're gonna keep our columns colored and just leave everything. We can click collapse empty columns. That way we will not see the ones we don't need. And from there, we're gonna change our grouping. Instead of grouping by status, we're gonna group by urgency. I pick the urgency custom field right here. And you can already see we have our tasks grouped based on the grouping we've done in our list view. Some tasks are here, some are there, and we can organize them the way we want. Some tasks are in urgent column, some are in the non-urgent column. It's starting to look like the Eisenhower matrix. Second thing we're gonna do is we're gonna create a subgroup. So we're gonna click add subgroup and pick importance. Now it's done, simple as that. We have our quadrants for important tasks and urgent tasks, not urgent tasks that are important, and not important tasks that are urgent, not important tasks that are not urgent. Now, what if we have an urgent but not important task and want to move it in? Now, you could put whatever information you want in those cards. ClickUp lets you put the assignee, date close, priority, sprint points, whatever. I'll just focus on the assignee, for example. I can assign those tasks to myself, and I could potentially assign those tasks to my team if they are in the urgent but not important quadrant, for example. So you can lay out the cards the way you want. Now, this is not the most important for us. Now you can reorganize your tasks in the different quadrants. Now, say you realize the administrative paperwork is actually urgent. We're going to move it to urgent, but it's not very important. Or say the comprehensive customer personnel research has become urgent, we can just move it right here and delegate it to our team to handle it. Now, this matrix can obviously be combined with ClickUp automations, and that's not something that Eisenhower had. So you could say, if a task is urgent, please set its deadline within 5 days. Here's an example automation. We're going to go into automations and change task custom field changes, and we're going to pick urgency. And if it's urgent, then please set the due date to 7 days after trigger date, for example, and click create. Second automation we could do is say, if it's important, please assign it to me. So you can say when custom field changes importance to important, then please change assignee and reassign to me. Click create. And I could create a third automation that says, if custom field changes to not important, actually don't reassign it to me, but reassign it to Diane. She's my assistant. Click save. And then from there, I can organize myself the way I want. If it's not urgent and not important, it could be automatically deleted. So you can basically fine tune it the way you want, the way it suits your workflow. But let's stick with those 3 automations and try them out. So I'm gonna move this task, coordinate meeting logistics for marketing team, to urgent, and maybe I'll move this one to not important. Maybe you can put this one as urgent as well and see what happens. So first off, coordinate meeting. The due date has been put to the 28th of November, which is 7 days after this date. So the first automation worked. Develop long-term marketing strategy has actually been put as urgent in 7 days, but also been assigned to me. It worked as well. And last one, because it was not important, it was reassigned to Diane, and she's the assignee of this task. And now if I open up this task, because it's urgent, it's also been put to the 28th of November. So my automations work, and changing and moving something in the Eisenhower Matrix will actually apply the automations and automatically think of, is this a high priority? Is this something I should do? Is this something I should delegate? And because this kind of personal productivity made sense to be incorporated into the getting things done template that I've created previously, I thought, why not integrate it with the getting things done methodology? That way, we dump our ideas the same way the getting things done works. Then we decide if it's an action and we should do it. And if it is, we decide if it's important or not, or we should delegate it, etc., etc. Now let me show you how it looks if we put this in the GTD template. So I put my Eisenhower Matrix list here in the GTD template. And if you haven't watched my GTD video, you can go have a look, but I'm summarized the getting things done method very quickly. We have our inbox where we dump our ideas. Then we have our to-do list, which is what we tackle, our projects list, which is longer term projects, and our reviews list, where we do our fortnightly or quarterly reviews. So in the to-do list, we can decide if a task is delegated or not, then goes into calendar, waiting for, etc. And we can actually use the quadrant that we've created in the Eisenhower Matrix to reorganize our task and move them to our to-do list. And if I want to do that, I can actually fine-tune my automations better and say, when a task is in my inbox and it goes in the status, prioritize, then please move it to the list Eisenhower Matrix, because I want to prioritize those tasks in there. I'll click create. It's going to ask me to map my statuses. I'll move everything to to-do, and then back into the Eisenhower Matrix list, we're gonna fine-tune our other automations and say, when it's urgent, please change due date to 7 days after trigger date, and please also move it to the list to do. And then please also reassign it to me. I'll click save. And then second automation, whenever it's important, please reassign it to me, but also move it to the list to do. The next automation, we're gonna say, whenever it's not important, but it's urgent, please reassign it to Diane, move it to the to-do list again, and change the tag to delegated, because if you have watched my GTD video, that's how we filter out the delegated tasks, not to see them. I'll click save. If we get back to our diagram, any of those tasks in the green, yellow, or blue area should move to the to-do list. Anyone that's here, you should take care of deleting it, because it's not really important or urgent, it's distracting you. So let's get back there and test out our automations. I've put my tasks right here. So first thing first, we're gonna make sure that when we move to prioritize, it's gonna move to the Eisenhower Matrix. And it should work because I'm just updating statuses right now. And if we go have a look right here into our list view, they're being moved as I'm moving them. So let's wrap this up. Prioritize, prioritize, prioritize. Not gonna do all of them, just a few for the sake of this example. Second step, again, urgency. So I'm gonna put this one as urgent. I really don't care about whether it's actually urgent or not. It's just for the sake of the video. Just gonna organize them a little bit in different quadrants to show you how it works. Now, obviously you can do it from here, but if you want to do it more visually, you totally could. They'll be in the bottom right here, and you can just move them. So this one is actually maybe here. This one is maybe in this area, etc., etc. So all you have to do is move them into the right quadrants. And as I'm moving them, they are smartly being moved to the right areas in my to-do list. And the only ones that remain, as you can see, is the not urgent and not important task that I can decide to delete, either one by one or just through an automation as well. I don't want to push you to do an automation. Maybe you want to have a look before deleting those tasks. So deleting tasks through an automation can be a little bit too risky. And now if we get into our to-do list, all our tasks have been moved to the right areas in our to-do, and the ones delegated are actually appearing right here. And now if we move to our to-do list, all our tasks have been sorted out. Our personal to-do list is right here, and we realize we actually only have to focus on 2 main tasks, and we have delegated some of our tasks. So everything has been organized smartly through the Eisenhower Matrix, helping you assess what's actually important and urgent for your business or your personal life. And I hope this video helps you out. I'm actually integrating the Eisenhower Matrix into the GTD template soon. You will be able to have it and optionally use it or not, because I'm going to make sure that into the system, you can delete the Eisenhower Matrix as a step, because this can start to become too complex. But if you feel like that can actually help your workflow and you're a little bit puzzled between what to focus on first and what's actually not very important for you and not very critical, then you might want to have the Eisenhower Matrix. And again, you don't need to use it in the GTD method. You can use it by itself. You can just create your task in the Eisenhower Matrix list and then organize them and handle them through the board view in the different quadrants that I've shown you earlier. Now, if you want to access that actual Eisenhower Matrix list, there's a link down below in the description. It's a completely free template where you have some sample tasks, and that lets you really get started with the Eisenhower Matrix and this methodology in ClickUp. If you want to know more about the GTD method, you can go have a look at the dedicated video. And if you need any more help about ClickUp, you can have a look at my different services down in the description. I can help you on ClickUp through my course, ClickUp Master, through my different templates, or on a direct coaching call where you'll work on your tailored solutions to your ClickUp problems. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.